In this lesson, we're going to be adding some more detail to the road level or streetscape in front of our building. We're going to do this just before we start on the actual facades. So to get going, what we can do is we can create a new layer called roads. I'm going to call that 01 roads. And that road plane that we created earlier on, we can go and relayer that to the new road layer. And we can go and turn off all the layers and then only leave plan site. And plan site, the layer is the pavement edge layer that we can use now to create our pavements and our roadscape. First of all, I just want to change the color of this. So red is not the ideal color for us. So let's look at it in a blue version. And this road plane, I'm going to now modify to fit the contours of how I've outlined this road to be. So I'm going to use 3 length and 3 width segments, convert that down to an editable poly, and then let's drag across the vertices so that they fit in with what the road outline is on the CAD plan. So let's do that for all the different lines, vertically and horizontally. And we can select edges, and using connect we can add more segments into place. I'm adding this segment here so that we can define this curve, and the same thing for this side. And I'm going to add one segment here for this back cutout. For this curve, I'm going to add 2 more segments into these more complex areas. So we'll just right click on the connect, add 2 segments, and using vertices, I'm going to slide down these vertices into place. Great, so there we go. So that's now all in place. And what we want to do now is we can go and select all the polys where our road is going to be. And we can go and, so we actually need to add one more section. Before we detach that, let's add one more. Actually, we can add a few more. There's one we can add here, another one there, and one final last one can be put in place over there. And again, same thing, we can go in just hitting F2 to see the different modes, so I can see exactly what I'm detaching. So I'm basically detaching the road from the pavement. Let's scroll down and hit detach. Now we're going to do the pavement edges, and to do that, grab your CAD geometry. You'll see it says linked geometry, so you know it's from the CAD file, and hit Control V on your keyboard and then copy that. Now it is an editable spline. If you go and isolate it, you'll see just those layers alone, and what we want to do now is extract out the different lines that we're going to use to create the pavement and the planter. So the planter are these 2 forms here. So to get the outline for that, let's go and select the segments that make up that outline. We'll see here that's one continuous one, so that's great. And we scroll down and detach that. Now for the pavement edge, we want to select all of the outer lines here. Zoom in, it'll be a bit easier to select that. And then you can detach that too. Now I'm just going to look at these 2 objects that I've detached, and I'm not going to do all the pavements on this side as well. I'm just going to show you the principle of the planter and of this pavement, and then you can go and do the same actions for all the other curbs that are around the rest of your scene. So I'm going to isolate that again, and I'm going to look at it in perspective view, and now I'm just going to extrude by typing EXT, and that will take me directly to extrude. Hit enter. That'll pop up. It's 1/2 meter high, which is great. So that's what, 2 feet for you guys. And you'll see that this one is not full. It's also inverted. So let's go down to the spline level and then just weld some of these vertices that are most likely not welded in these corners here. So by selecting all the vertices, scroll down, hit weld, and then you'll have your full object. Then go and add an editable poly, ED, enter, select the face on top, hit F2 if you want to see the full color version, and then go and insert the poly once you have that. Ooh, I've actually created an editable mesh. Instead of the editable mesh, I rather want editable poly. So let's just ignore that. We don't want polys, patches, or meshes. We don't want the meshes or the patches. We want the polys. That's right. So let's hit the poly, and now we want to go and insert those. So click on insert and then just choose 0.15 or 1/2 foot for you. And you can then right click as well. Instead of using this menu, you can go down to extrude. You have your insert there as well. So all of the basic modeling functions are there for you. And in this case, minus 0.15 meters, and it will just shoot that down, and that will then create the ground level for where our planter will be. Now these two objects which are highlighted in red will be a different material, so we can go and detach those. And you can see that that's now a separate object. For the pavement edge, what we want to do is around these curves, just similarly to the planter, we need to make sure that everything is welded. So let's select all the vertices and we can right click and weld that. Then what we want to do is you want to add a sweep modifier, so SW and enter. And once you zoom into that, you will see that you have a rectangular section. If you don't have that, you can select it. And let's just modify some of these parameters. Let's make it 0.2 meters by 0.2 meters. So quite a big chunky pavement edge. We can isolate or unisolate that and have a look at what we've created here. So you can see there's our pavement edge. What we can do now is this road, which is this surface here, we can move that down. So we can type in directly minus 0.15. We can move that road edge down. And now we can use these pivot alignments to just move that pavement edge into the right place. So the last thing I want to do just before we finish the video is I just want to show you that sometimes we have certain areas that are not in the correct place. So you need to go back into your actual editable spline, and then from there you'll be able to modify the actual spline. Just to make sure, sometimes you need to reverse the splines and so forth. So in this case, let's go and select that by selecting the spline. Let's scroll down, hit reverse, and immediately you'll be able to see that this part at least has been corrected. This part needs to be reversed as well, so let's go and do the same thing here by selecting these three, reverse that, and now everything is in alignment. So there you have it. That is it for this short lesson. We have popped up the planters. We've detached the surfaces which will be used as the greener grass or the gravel or whatever you'd like to put here. The road has been detached and lowered down, and we've also created the pavement edge that is following the CAD geometry. It's extracted from the CAD geometry directly, so we didn't even have to model these curves or redo these radiuses or work anything out. They're just directly taken from our base geometry. And there you have it. So that is it for the first lesson on the streetscape. The second one, we will look at how we can start adding some more of the detail around the base of the building, and we're going to get going with the facade of the first facade option. And there you have it for this lesson. Thanks.